Now let me start this video off with a question for the audience. What do you believe is the number one reason that an isekai fails? And honestly, answer what you believe the answer is in the comments. I'll give you a moment to think about it, because I'm pretty sure 7 out of 10 times this is actually what causes an isekai to fail. It's not about characters, it's not about plot, it's not about production. I think it all is about the name. And this is something that is an actual marketing strategy. You know all those ridiculously long light novel names that's like, oh my god, they give away the whole plot in the title. It's intentionally designed. It's been proven among many publishers that the longer and more detailed the name is, the more people will buy the novels, check out the anime, etc. It's no denying that when every other day of the week you have a show called Reincarnated into Another World as a butt plug, I now clench myself in order to defeat the Demon Lord. You're like, wait, what? But you all know most of us are going to check out the first episode. But if something's called Reborn in Another World, I Enjoy Life, honestly answer which one of those are you going to check out. Now there will be probably a couple that don't want to watch the butt plug show. I don't get it, but a few of you would. That brings me to today's topic, because I've been watching a little show. I've known what the show is ever since it aired. It's called Handyman Saitou in Another World. And I gotta be honest, the name's kind of shit. It's interesting to a degree, like, oh, a handyman in another world. That could be fun, right? A handyman in another world sounds like a fun little cute show. But when that show aired, there was a lot of other shows that had better names, better promotion, and better buzz. So, like many people, I slept on it. But we've been watching it on Patreon. Does this look like a typical Handyman in Another World show? Nope, it does not. I have one episode left to watch, and I ain't gonna lie, this might be my favorite isekai in like the past 5 years. 100%. And the name fucking sucks. Had the name been something more accurate to what the show is, and I'm gonna spitball a couple things. I think you could have said, Handyman in Another World, I struggle to survive in this hellish environment. That's a pretty accurate representation of what I've seen in the show. Handyman in Another World, like a fish out of water, the bullshit that I experience is hell on earth. Like, seriously, shit like that is more accurate than just Handyman in Another World. Because the name makes it feel like it's just gonna be like, oh, he does some fixing in another world. And the poster made it look like it was a dungeon crawler. But I gotta be real, like, I thought he was picking locks and maybe busting out the Roomba from time to time. I gotta be real, the name did this one dirty. I really hope we get a second season, because this show, basically, it starts off for like the first third. It's almost like a 4-panel manga, so you know how it's like very snappy storytelling. Here's a little story, here's a little story, here's a little story. And there's like 4 to 6 different perspectives, and then just randomly, they all merge together. And it becomes this emotionally engaging, fucked up story of death and sacrifice. There's a whole emotional love story. Bro's out here trying to sacrifice himself for his love who doesn't remember him. He's given up an arm and a leg. People are out here getting stabbed, and you know, they did fake outs with death so much I don't even know who I believe is dead or not. And it's just such a wonderful show. Not to mention it has objectively one of the biggest dick characters of all time. They actually, in universe, confirm this man is packing a 12-incher. I think it was 12 inches. His schlong be so big, a wild mutt ended up eating it for a monosaurus. You may be saying, Brandon, surely you're taking the piss. Oh, I'm not. This is actually all factual. One of my favorite gimmicks about this is how Saitou, as a main character, he's kind of like the glue that holds this party together. He may not have like any powers, and he really is just a handyman good with picking locks and stuff like that. But then you have like this Alzheimer's looking motherfucker who can't remember his spells. That ties into this emotionally engaging plotline of loss and how someone wiped his memory because of, well, he couldn't deal with the truth of his life. We'll leave it a little ambiguous so you don't get completely spoiled. But calling a show like this Handyman Saitou in Another World destined for failure. Now, Japan's an interesting beast. Doesn't necessarily mean that. Japan will probably eat this up no matter what. But for English speakers, I have the data myself to back this. I think I had less than a dozen people recommend the show when it aired. And I thought, oh, it looks like a fun little show, but we don't got the time and no one's going to want to watch videos on it. Would you believe me if I told you it has arguably some of the best action of the season that it aired in? The final fights, I'm watching this like, where the... Why were people not, why was that not going viral on Twitter? Did Elon Musk fuck the algorithm more than I realized? Jesus Christ. Every character is interesting. Every character has a gimmick that is fun, but then they have emotional depth to them. And the more I watched this show, the more I loved it. There's also a really sweet romance that blossoms slowly but surely between these two, which was very enjoyable. I didn't expect them to make any sort of progress, and I gotta be honest, they made some decent progress by the end. Not only did the old pervert actually have a soft spot and actually just treat her as a daughter, nothing weird there, though granted, some of his other comments to other characters are, you know, it's a little sus. But like the fact that there's actually emotional depth, and I can't get over the fact too that, like I said, the first chunk of this show is 4-panel manga coded. Super quick story, super quick story, super quick story, and they're all really good. And I was like, oh, this is kind of fun. Like, it's almost like they're trying to tell an actual story, but they're directing it like a 4-panel, which usually that wouldn't work. And then it just all crashes together by the end. And by the end, that's like the third of the way through, and then it just skyrockets in quality. I'm like, okay, we're heading to Mars. Elon Musk ain't gonna make it, but we certainly are. I'm telling you, as much as people bitch and moan about the concept of obnoxiously long titles or ridiculous titles, they are what keep you interested. I do my best to try pretty much anything that might interest me, but even I'm limited on time. The unfortunate thing is they make so much anime anymore that it's not just like, oh, there's 12 interesting looking things. There's like 30 interesting looking things. Now, are all 30 of those gonna be like 8 out of 10s? No. But I have OCD. I like to finish things that I start, so I don't like unless I really dislike it, I'm gonna keep powering through. And I gotta cut my losses somewhere. And when a dozen people are recommending a show called Handyman Saitou in Another World, and they're saying, yeah, it's pretty fun, you gotta check it out. I literally just talked about this with easygoing territory defense. You have to explain more. The way I can sell you on this show, imagine a handyman being a fish out of water thrown in the deepest, most fucked up dungeon crawling at multiple points with emotional depth, great romance, and heartfelt stories, not just for him, but the cast as a whole. Literally, top 3 minimum, but I think this is my new favorite modern isekai. And if it doesn't get more, I will be very disappointed. But honestly, with where they leave it off, it's, you know, seemingly going to be a good stopping point nonetheless. Seriously, Handyman Saitou, I've been loving it. I'm sad I only have 1 episode left to watch. If you do want to see my full live reactions to every single episode, though, we did do it every week on Patreon, so they're all there if you want to support for a month, if you so wish. We got a lot of great stuff we're watching, and you're going to get a lot more recommendation videos because of those things, so do look forward to that. But yeah, let me know your thoughts if you did watch this. Were you disappointed that very few checked it out? I mean, it did okay for Reddit, but even then, I feel like people weren't promoting this. So you can let me know your thoughts down below. Drop a like, share your support, subscribe, ring that bell, and Patreon. Full live reactions and exclusives do live over there. Does help fund the channel. And hey, that's why I love to give video shows to those patrons, because they make it all possible. Alright, so today we got Andrew, the almighty Ultimus, Without a Net, Young Atlas, Agus, Ciarson, and we also have Kyle Asperis. So I appreciate the support. Please take care. You'll have a good one.